How's it going, everyone? Mitch here with another Logic Pro 9 tutorial, this time series. I'm going to be giving you an overview of every single plugin inside of Logic Pro 9. And I'm going to be giving you them in the order that they come in inside of that folder inside of Logic. So I'm going to start with that amp designer and go all the way through until the end. It's going to be quite a while, so hopefully you're with me through the whole thing. Alright, so I'm going to be giving you a description of that plugin, what it does. Also, on some of them, how it works, basically. Okay, I'm also going to be giving you some uses for the plugins, and then I will also include, for your benefit, tutorial links so that you can go check out how I use these in my mixing, how I use these in my mastering, etc., etc. So, let's get right into it, folks. As you can see from this picture, there are a lot of plugins. There are a lot of software instruments inside of Logic. So hopefully, although I'm not going over software instruments, I can demystify this part of Logic for you. So let's start with that amp designer like I was talking about. The amp designer is a guitar amplifier and speaker cabinet emulator. If you are going to be doing direct input guitar, check this out, because what this does is it emulates a physical setup, an amplifier with a head, and then you can also do your cabinet. You can also edit your recording microphone, ribbon, condenser, dynamic, and you can configure how that microphone is placed in front of that amplifier. This is all emulation of physical things inside of, in software, and it's awesome if you're doing direct input guitar. So check this out if that's what you're doing. Okay. Next is going to be the bass amplifier, which is not used as much as I'd like seeing. The reason for this is because professionals have these awesome preamps that can record that direct input bass guitar, and it sounds beautiful without any plugins on it. If you just have a run-of-the-mill plugin or interface, you need to beef up that bass signal just a little bit. So check out this bass amplifier. It simulates several famous bass amplifiers. You can edit bass, mid, treble, and gain for each chosen model, and there are 9 different amplifier models. So if you're going to be recording direct input bass, check out the bass amp. Next is going to be the Guitar Amp Pro. This simulates popular guitar amplifiers and speakers. Kind of like the amp designer, but in a different way, because there's a few more editable things that aren't inside of the amp designer. It's great for sound design outside of guitar signals as well. Even though this plugin says Guitar Amp Pro, I've used it on vocals before, and I can see it being used on synthesizers, stuff of the sort. There's so many different things you can do with this. It has tremolo, vibrato, and reverb all built into it. You can choose your amplifier, your speaker cabinet, your equalizer settings, and your microphone parameters all inside of this. So basically what this sounds like is an amp designer, but a little bit on steroids. The only problem is the interface isn't as intuitive as the amp designer. So if you're looking for something, if you're just going to be starting out, I would suggest the amp designer. But if you're feeling a little bit risky, I guess is a good word for it maybe, try this Guitar Amp Pro, because it will definitely change your life. Next is going to be the Pedalboard. As the amp designer models a physical setup of an amp, the Pedalboard simulates a physical setup of your stomp boxes. You can use this in conjunction with the amp designer or a Guitar Amp Pro. In a physical setup, you have your guitar running into your pedals. Those pedals are going to be running into your head, which is going to be running into your speaker cabinet, which is going to be running into your microphone, which will then be inputted into your computer through your interface, whatever. If you're just doing direct input guitar, putting that guitar into that preamplifier, you can use the Pedalboard, Amp Designer, and Guitar Amp Pro to model these physical setups. Inside of the Pedalboard, there are a few groups of pedals: distortion, modulation, delay, filter, dynamics, and utility, and there's a few from each of those groups. And you can import new pedals as well. As you can see on the top right of the plugin, there is an import mode, which you can import plugins. I've never done it, but supposedly it's pretty cool. Now we're going to get into some delay plugins. The first one is by far going to be the most difficult to understand and use in practice. It's the Delay Designer. It's a multi-tap delay with stereo and surround control. So it's very, very powerful, but definitely hard to use and pick up. Okay, what it's going to have is level panning, a high and low pass filter, and pitch transposition. So I'm talking about all this stuff, but what is a tap? Okay, so in a delay, you have your original signal and then your delayed signal that comes in at a certain frequency. A pitch is that point where the original signal will be delayed. So as you can see from the picture here, there is one tap inside of the Delay Designer that I took a picture of, and it's labeled A. For each tap, you can mess with your stereo and your surround for each one. So you can you can send one tap to your left ear, one tap to your right ear, one tap to both of them. You know what you can do? It's very, very customizable. And it's powerful when working with complex stereo delay because you can use this manual tap creation. You can move these taps wherever you want. They can be asynchronous of that project tempo, and you can just go freaking have a heyday. I don't really care. There's so much you can do inside of this Delay Designer. The only problem is it's hard to learn. So if you're looking for a challenge, again, look at this Delay Designer. Okay. Next is going to be on the other side of the delay spectrum with the echo. It's going to be very simple. It's a simple synchronized echo effect, obviously implied by the name. The echo, simple and intuitive, yet powerful, like I've been saying. I use this personally on rap and R&B vocals. Why? Because you can just slap it on and get a slap delay. You know what I'm saying? But on a serious note, it is a very simple plugin, but I use it all the time on this genre because all it does is it takes that original signal and delays it at a certain period of time. Very easy to use. Just use it. I don't care. Next is going to be the sample delay. This is going to be different than all the other delays because it doesn't play the original signal and then a delayed signal or copy of that original. What it's going to do is it's going to take that original signal and completely delay it by a certain amount. And you can do this independently for the left and right stereo fields. All right. Like I said, delay left and right by particular amounts. You can correct signal timings, and you can emulate stereo microphone channel separation. What does this mean? You can have multiple microphones recording an amplifier or a signal. It doesn't matter. These microphones, the signal is going to reach those microphones at different timings. So you can emulate that with a sample delay. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay. Next is going to be the stereo delay. It's a tape delay with stereo separation. Again, implied from the name. You can force mono tracks into stereo. So as you can see from the picture, you can work with your left and your right stereo fields separately. You can do crossfade, feedback, timings, your groove, your phase, and then you can mix it together at the output. And then you can do a low and high cut on that mixed signal. Alright? I personally use this on vocals. Why? Because it's great at creating that wide sound. There's different things going on in both sides of the stereo spectrum, or the stereo field. So what this basically means is it's just a wider overall sound. Next is going to be the tape delay. It's going to simulate a warm vintage tape echo machines. This is going to be your run-of-the-mill Logic Bolt delay. If you're going to put a delay on a track but you don't know, put a tape delay on, okay? It has high and low pass in the feedback, and it's nice for slap delay. I was saying that the Echo plugin is what I use because it's simple, but if you're looking for something a little bit more editable, I would try looking at the tape delay for slap delay in R&B and rap. And this also includes an LFO for the delay time modulation. What this does is it creates a chorus-like effect on the delay time, which is a very cool effect. If you haven't heard it, go check it out. And like I said, it's a run-of-the-mill Logic built delay. So this is going to conclude my first section of this series. Do not worry, I'm going to be coming out with these very quickly, but there is just so much to cover, I want to split it up a little bit. So everyone, thanks for watching. Please tune in to that next tutorial. I will post a link in the description. Again, thanks everyone. Mitch out.